Hey friends, happy Thursday. Groundhog Day. Did you hear? 6 more weeks of winter. It's okay. It's okay. I'm in Illinois. I expect that. Come on in and say hey. I actually got started on a project and I thought maybe, just maybe, you guys would like to hang out. It just occurred to me I did not bring my iPad, so I might have to squint to read your post. So come on in and say hey. Tonight I'm going to actually be making this wreath using a Dollar Tree frame. And like I said, it occurred to me, maybe you'd like to hang out while I do this. And I'll be using the pancake method. My dear friend who started this trend, that's what she named it, and it's because it's a thin wreath. One of those wreaths that will fit between doors. So let me just start with, this is a Dollar Tree frame. It doesn't come with pipe cleaners. So I've added pipe cleaners and I'm going to explain where I place them. So on the outer 2 bars, let's see if I can get a, so on the outer 2 bars, I've placed one at the cross wire. Then on the upper 2 bars, there we go. The upper 2 bars I've placed in between these 2. Got crossbar on the outer rim, and then one in between. But I always, after I add my pipe cleaners, so after I add the pipe cleaners, I always take my glue gun and I secure them. So I'm gonna bring you down on the table here for a minute. So what I like to do is get my ugly glue pot lid off of your view, is I will take and put just a spot of glue where these pipe cleaners are. And the reason for that is, let me put something underneath it because I don't want glue on my craft table. So, by the way, don't get mad. This box was damaged and I couldn't use it for shipping, so I repurposed it. So I just put a little bit of spot of glue right where the pipe cleaners are so it secures them, because if they become loose at any time, your mesh will shift, which will make your wreath look funky. And it may not be right away, but think about the customer who put it away for the season. Ow, that hurt. And they got it back out, and now the mesh has like a gaping space in between. So securing my pipe cleaners with just a little spot of glue on that bar will help eliminate that issue. And then I'll show you, I've got my mesh cut and my ribbon cut, but I'm going to tell you what I've cut it at. So now that I've glued those down, I can put this away. And for this project, for this pancake style wreath, you only need 1 roll of mesh, and you won't even need the whole row. So I am going to cut, oh, by the way, there's 12 twist ties. So a total of 12 twist ties on this Dollar Tree frame. And so we're going to need 12 strips of mesh at 20 inches long. So I've cut most of them, but I will cut the last 2 right now. 20 inches long, and you need a total of 12 to go with your 12 pipe cleaners that we added to the Dollar Tree frame, or 14-inch frame. So it doesn't matter if it's a Dollar Tree frame or where you get it. If it's a 14-inch frame, this method works really well. Then I have ribbon cut at 12 inches. So I'm going to be using a 2.5-inch ribbon and a 1.5-inch ribbon, 12 of each, and these are cut at 12 inches. Y'all, I already have a bow made, so we're going to really focus on just this process, okay? All right, so just like most Wreath, here we're going to make a ruffle, and we're going to start on the outer rim of our wreath frame. So I'm just going to kind of walk this up the center of this 20-inch strip of mesh, and I'm going to create that little ruffle. I'm going to put it to the outside of the wreath frame. And right now I'm just going to do one twist tie, because this is where it can be a little different. If you don't do this, I typically don't add ribbon tails until I get both rows on. But with the pancake style wreath, you actually want to add your ribbon tails at this point. So add those. Then you can give it a good several twists to make sure it's in there very well. And of course, I always kind of spread out my ruffle. So we have the ribbon tail and the mesh are going to kind of go in together. Let's go ahead and move over to the next one. Let me go ahead and dovetail the rest of this ribbon. 14-inch frame I got from Dollar Tree. We have 12 pipe cleaners on it. I have cut 12 strips of mesh at 20 inches long. And I have 12 ribbon tails, 12 inches long, of 2 different ribbons, a 1.5 and a 2.5. Now that those are done, I can move a little faster. All right, so let's take our next piece of mesh. So as I said, the thing that it differs with this method is that you're going to add your ribbon tails at the same time you add your mesh. So I'm going to put that mesh in there. I'm just going to give it a loose twist. Grab my ribbon tails. Turn them right side up, of course. 12-inch ribbon tails. And add those into the twist tie. So this method will make a very thin wreath, and it will be about 3 to 4 inches in depth. With the bow, it's probably going to be closer to 4 inches. Nice and full. All right, let's add our 10-inch sign. What I will do is I will take the end of an ink pen or paintbrush. I never cut them off because I've actually had them come loose before. And guess what? I have nothing to tie it back on with because I've cut it off. So I'll take the end and I will curl it and almost make like a center. So I just curl them I don't leave the pipe cleaner sticking up like antennae unless it's a ladybug wreath and antennae would be appropriate, right? So I actually do this afterwards, after I get everything done. So like here, I'm gonna be covering up these pipe cleaners. I don't need to curl them because they're gonna be hidden. So I've already added some cable tie mounts and pipe cleaners to this sign. When you get signs from Festive Creations, they don't have holes in them. So you can either use this method or you can use a jewelry hole punch and add your own holes with the jewelry hole punch. Okay, there we go. I was trying to go through ribbon and I figured out that doesn't work out too well for me. I did have to move the ribbon out of my way to get through the mesh down to the frame. So Sandra, my ring is 14-inch, 10-inch sign. I am using a 10-inch sign. All right, I'm gonna turn this over. And here is where I fed my pipe cleaners through. And so I'm gonna attach this. Anytime I can find a crossbar, I'm always gonna snag that crossbar and secure it around that when I can, because that will help the sign from shifting over time. It won't slide down. If there's not a crossbar in sight, no worries. But I can usually, especially with this type of wreath, I can find a crossbar. All right, there is, so I put this a little off to the side on purpose. And of course, my big shake test, if I can shake this and it doesn't move anywhere, I know I'm on the right track. And let me finish. And of course, we're gonna add this beautiful little bow. So I'm gonna finish curling a few of these pipe cleaners. So let me add, and if you were on a little earlier, I explained that I actually made the bow for a tutorial that will be uploaded to YouTube, my YouTube channel on Sunday. If you want to see how I made that bow. So I'll trim this one off, but I think that placement is pretty good. I like where that one is. I can see the sign. The bow is kind of touching the edge because this is going to make a little powerful statement. Whoops, sorry. Didn't mean to do that quickly. Look how thin that is. Even with the bow, this will fit very nicely. And if the bow gets pushed down, it's not going, so right in here, let's measure. Where's my tape measure? So the bow portion makes it about 5 inches. This portion, I'll measure from the sign, is about 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches deep. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you learned a few tips and tricks. And as always, I can't wait to see what you make. Y'all have a great rest of your Thursday night. Good night.